and thanks for watching today's video. Today's video is a follow-up on my canter video. So in my first canter video in this series, I explained the movement of your pelvis in canter, which is a backward circle, and how you can influence the shape of the canter of your horse by either circling more ovally up, asking the horse to lift more in the shoulders and collect, or oval more forward, asking your horse to stretch and lengthen. So as a follow-up question I received was, okay, but how do I ride the canter transition and how do I keep my horse cantering in those first few strides? Because obviously quite a lot of people have problems getting their horse in the canter or in the correct canter in the first place. And second, when the canter is hard for a horse, they may have a tendency to fall on the shoulder and drop out of the canter back into the trot. So in today's video I would like to explain that a little bit more. It is a little bit less seat related because I think you need to understand a lot about the biomechanics of the horse first. So let me start with saying there is two different ways in general to get a horse to canter. The basic way and the more advanced way of jumping into a canter. So the basic way of getting your horse to canter is to kind of just lengthen your trot, find the good rhythm, and kind of let your horse roll into the canter quite naturally. The second way of getting into the canter, which is more advanced, is asking your horse to be more collected and really start with an upwards jump and keep a more collected canter. So of course the second way is the one that frees the horse's shoulders more, and that's the way that we try to strive for in the academic art of riding. But sometimes it's useful with a young horse or with an inexperienced horse to kind of just start with that rolling into the canter, basic canter transition, to get the horse to establish a good beat, a good 3-beat rhythm in the canter. Now, if you use that first way, the basic way of rolling into the canter, what I would recommend most people to do is to take a small light seat, like what I've explained in my rising trot videos. It is very important in this light seat that you get out of the horse's back so the horse can really lengthen the back, the upper line, and stretch his muscles, but also that you don't tip your weight forward. So the more you throw yourself on the horse's shoulders, the harder it will be for your horse to make a transition into canter and to not fall on the inside shoulder and take the wrong lead. So it's very important that you keep a very small light seat where your tailbone is still pointing down into the saddle and you're not throwing yourself forward and out of the saddle. That you don't arch your back, that you don't have any tension in your knees, hips and ankles. So in the trot you take the light seat, your upper legs follow this movement of the horse's rib cage, and when the inside of the rib cage of the horse is down, that's where you want to think of a slight leg yield to the outside, basically to hollow and free the horse's inside shoulder, and that's the moment where from your inside leg you would ask your horse to transition into the canter. So this kind of helps the horse to get off the inside shoulder and take the correct lead. There are several exercises that you can do for that. So one is making the circle bigger. The other one is a leg yield with a correct bend towards the wall. And then when you near the wall, so where the horse has also a little bit of framing from the fence, there ask for the canter. But the most important thing is that you free the horse's shoulders and that you don't put extra weight on the shoulders with your seat. But the light seat there will help to free up the back muscles. So if we go to the more advanced way of cantering, it is really important that your horse already knows how to do a correct canter in the first place. And that's where, from a collected trot and from a collected seat, or a collected walk and a collected seat, you will ask your horse to come up in the shoulders and take the first canter strides. And of course in that canter it's quite normal that your horse can maybe in the beginning only keep it up for 1 or 2 or 3 jumps, because it's asking a lot from his hind legs to carry. That's where you take a ground seat, where you really sit, and you try to ask with your upper body coming slightly back, the shoulders to lift. In that case, your horse already needs to understand that your body can work as a leverage to bring his weight to his hindquarter. So that's the more advanced and more complicated one. And in that one, I would say, okay, do 1 jump or 2 jumps or 3 jumps, whatever your horse is comfortable with. Come back to the walk or come back to the trot and do it again until your horse builds up enough muscle power to sustain it for several jumps. Another thing you can of course do is think up, make those collected canter jumps, and then allow the horse to come forward a bit more on the shoulders and continue in a normal 3-beated forward canter. As I said, it's the more difficult one. Start with basic, roll your horse into the canter, free the shoulder, take a light seat. So that's my answer to this question. Bye guys! If you have questions that you haven't asked over the mail yet, you can always write me a mail through ilvi@ilvifrost.nl. If you are not a subscriber to my newsletter yet and you would like to receive these daily videos in your mailbox and get some other interesting information, you can sign up for my newsletter using this link below. And of course, you can always subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you stay in touch of all the videos that I post. Okay, thank you very much and enjoy the time with your horses. Bye!